On today's Apple Daily, Netflix adding spatial audio support to their videos. Epic launches UK dispute with Apple, and new MacBook Pro report reads like a fantasy wish list.
For the latest Apple news, rumors, and leaks, every weekday at 12 UTC. Join us in the iCave.
I'm iCave Dave, and if you want the latest Apple news, leaks and rumours every weekday at 12 UTC, like this video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so that you don't miss a thing. If you do all that, post hashtag notification squad in the comments, and I will give you a shout out in the next video. Netflix adding spatial audio support. An unnamed Netflix employee has revealed that they are currently working on bringing spatial audio support for Apple's AirPods Pro and Apple's AirPod Max. Now, if you're unaware, spatial audio is Apple's system for creating a soundstage around you, placing virtual speakers to simulate sound coming from different directions. The clever part is that the soundstage is fixed to the device you're listening on, and uses the accelerometers in the iPhone or iPad to know if it moves or if you turn your head, so the sound is always fixed to the device you're listening on. Right now, the feature only works when watching on iPad or iPhone, which I think we all understand is exactly how filmmakers like Christopher Nolan always intended for their masterpieces to be viewed. However, it could point to a new Apple TV model which has long been rumoured on the horizon, and that could potentially support a new anchor point for this sound. We can only hope. Epic Games launches UK dispute with Apple. Dear God, Epic is still a thing. They submitted a complaint to the UK's Competition Appeal Tribunal in order to try and get their apps reinstated into the British App Store. Last I remember though, all they had to do was take out the payment option that bypassed the App Store payments, but hey, maybe that's a really hard thing to do. Epic said Epic has launched legal proceedings against Apple and Google in the United Kingdom, expanding its fight to advance fair digital platform practices for consumers and developers. The legal proceedings filed in London's Competition Appeal Tribunal allege the conduct of both Apple and Google in their respective app stores is an abuse of dominant position and in breach of the UK's competition laws, substantially reducing competition in app distribution and payment options. We believe that, yada yada yada. This is just their statement, so I'm going to skip past. Epic is not seeking damages from Apple or Google in the UK, Australia or the US. It is simply seeking fair access to a competition that would benefit all consumers. As I've said, Apple has repeatedly said just remove the payment portal that breached the App Store rules and Fortnite, etc. could come back to the store. But I'm not sure how far the relationship has now soured and if that's even still an option. It still seems strange to me that Epic is arguing that 30% is an unfair cut in the App Store, but not on things like PlayStation and Microsoft Xbox and on Switch and all of those other platforms where it seems to be game focused. They seem to be fine with 30%, where it's games and you can put other stuff on it. They don't think that's fair, and I think that's just a really strange position to take. And Apple has reduced their commissions for smaller businesses, but for the big boys it's still at 30%, just like everyone else in the industry. New MacBook Pro report reads like a fantasy wish list. Okay, I know that this is why you're here. New Macs are the biggest subject that anyone on my audience is into. I hear you. So let's just get into the good stuff. So according to Ming-Chi Kuo, this is what we have to look forward to with the Apple Silicon only refresh for the MacBook Pros. Anyone remember when I was the only one saying that we weren't going to get any more Intel Macs and everyone thought I was crazy? This was like back in August, September, after the iMacs came. So this is a numbered list from Ming-Chi Kuo. The two new models are equipped with about a 14-inch and 16-inch display respectively. Number 2, in terms of casing design, the new models cancel the curvy design of the existing models' top and bottom parts and adopt a flat-edged form factor design similar to the iPhone 12. Number 3, the MagSafe charging connector design is restored. Number 4, the OLED touch bar is removed and the physical function buttons are restored. Number 5, there is no Intel CPU option for the new models. Number 6, they are equipped with more types of I/O and most users may not need to purchase additional dongles. Okay, so that's the list done. There are a couple of things here that make me mildly skeptical, but also kind of hopeful. First, the sizes make complete sense. While in the past, everyone asked me if they should wait for the 14-inch MacBook Pro, and I said, what 14-inch MacBook Pro? That was when we thought that Apple might just slim down the bezels and call it a day. This report is talking about a full redesign, and I think that the reaction to the 16-inch MacBook Pro has been so good that Apple would be happy to spend the extra R&D dollars now, and they're completely redesigning the range. The case design losing the curvy top is exactly what I said that we would be getting, and I feel like the lids will probably look thicker because they won't be thinner at the edges, and it might be quite a divisive design to begin with, but I also think that it will become a design classic, just like the iPhone 12s. MagSafe coming back, and this is the old school style of MagSafe we're talking about here, not the new wireless puck MagSafe. That's one of the big surprises to me, but it will be a lovely surprise if it happens. Now, I'd assume it will be a different standard to the old MagSafe and not backwards compatible. They'll probably create a new style of design for it, but not dragging your Mac off the kitchen table when a kid trips over the wire sounds like a really, really good idea to go back to. Goodbye touch bar. Now that's a shocker, though it may be that this new design will actually bring those individual keys that can show different functions within the keycaps rather than having a single bar. So you could actually keep a lot of the functionality of a touch bar, and that would keep people happy that want to have traditional function key row, as well as giving flexibility for people to adjust to different apps. Now the reason that they might be going back to this is it means that you can actually just reach down to those keys and press them without actually having to look at what you're clicking on. No Intel models. Well, I did tell you so, but why would you want it? We've seen how good the MacBook is at simulating x86 processors. You can check out yesterday's video where through Rosetta my Mac Mini M1 beat an AMD Ryzen 5 3600 in Blender renders, and we've also seen that Windows can run through Parallels, and given enough brute force that's likely to come with M1X and the future generations, it seems that Boot Camp might not be as vital in future. And here is the most interesting part: more I/O. In a world where it felt like Apple was pushing more and more towards Thunderbolt and USB-C as the one and only port, it's very interesting to see this, and I think there could be two reasons. First, Apple and Intel worked together on the Thunderbolt standard, and it's unclear how their relationship has developed since Apple moved over to Apple Silicon. I think it's probably fair to say that the switch hasn't seen them become closer. So it could be that Apple is actually going to withdraw from developing that standard going forward and follow the USB 4 path instead. The move to MagSafe might be seen as a step backwards by some and a return to something great by others. USB power delivery was great for compatibility, but I have a feeling that Apple might have seen some fried power boards due to the ease of using lower quality third-party power supplies over the USB standard. I'm personally glad to see its return if MagSafe does come back. I think the biggest reason for this change and the return of more I/O though might well be the department of Johnny Ive as a daily member of the team. His dedication to simplicity has defined Apple's design direction for years, decades. But for a long time, Pro users have been less happy at losing the ports, like SD card readers for example, and Phil Schiller was also a huge advocate of the wireless future too. And he's now moved into an Apple Fellow role, away from daily involvement in the company. I'd expect we will still see displays connecting over USB-C, and I doubt the chassis will be thick enough to support USB-A ports, so it remains to be seen what the other I/O that's being added back in is going to be. One thing that hasn't been mentioned in this report is Face ID, which had been mooted as a high probability addition for a while, and with the new design it seems like it's the perfect time, if they're going to integrate it, to do that. They're going to have the ability to redefine any part of the notebook they want, whether that's thickness of displays, whether that's anything else, but we might still see Touch ID in the next generation and Face ID coming later down the line. The possibility of mini LED displays was also not mentioned, but even if they don't come in this generation, I would guess, again, this redesign will allow the space that they need if they need a little bit more depth to support those displays. Now the report also says Q3, which suggests between June and September, which means they could well be introduced at the normally software-focused Worldwide Developer Conference. What do you think of these reports, and what I/O do you want to see in the new MacBook Pros? Please let me know down in the comments what you would hope. Are you excited about this new design direction, or do you like the current generation with the nice curvy bits? I don't feel like the 13-inch is going to go away anytime soon. I think that's going to stay as your base model, and then you're going to be like $1,800 for the 14-inch and $2,300-ish for the 16-inch going forward. But I think that's pretty fair. Let me know down in the comments what you think. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.